We should talk about Liverpool a little bit, shouldn't we? Because it's been a tough few weeks, hasn't it, for Liverpool, to say the least?
Slots losing the plot.
A really bad few weeks. It all started with a 2-1 defeat away at Palace, which was backed up by a 1-1 defeat at Galatasaray, then losing at Chelsea after the international break, losing at home to Man United. Maybe thought a corner might have been turned in the week when Liverpool went to Frankfurt and won by 5 goals to 1, but brought right back down to earth last night, losing away at Brentford by 3 goals to 2. Liverpool at the moment 7th in the table and 7 points behind Arsenal, who are top. Quakey, I'll give you my take in a second as a Liverpool fan, but looking out to in, what's going wrong and what needs to be done, what can be done to try and turn things around for Liverpool?
I think this is all done in hindsight, and Arne Slot deserves so much credit for what he did last season in terms of coming into the Premier League and winning it with Liverpool, and nobody had them winning it at the beginning of the year, and that deserves all the credit in the world. I think when you look at things in hindsight, you can start to draw parallels with previous situations, and as great as the job he did was, we've seen managers come to the Premier League and win it in their first year. And a lot of times, if I think about managers that have done it for my club, I look at like an Antonio Conte or a Carlo Ancelotti, and I use the Conte example. He came in, kind of took the league by storm. The second year, everyone's got tape on you and things don't go necessarily as smoothly as your first year. You bring in some of your own players or players that kind of maybe fit the way that you want to play football, and it takes a while to transition. Chelsea didn't have the patience to stick with Conte. He was gone after the second season. Liverpool will stick with Slot because he's a manager that has shown in his first year that he can get the job done. I just think this is things just catching up with Liverpool a little bit. And if you want to point to specific tactics, fullback areas is a problem. Specifically on the left-hand side, I think Kirkes will come good, but at the moment he just doesn't.
He's being targeted and struggling.
Yeah, you need a right back as well.
I think right back.
Frimpong's not going to make it.
Yeah, I agree. And then you need to work out what your best front line is. And with Mo Salah, I'm always of the notion, with a player like him, you either start him or you sell him. Because
he'll come good, though.
Because with Mo Salah, the part of his game is he might have not disastrous, but he might have an 85 minutes where he doesn't look like one of the best players in the world. And then all of a sudden he turns it on.
He shows you well.
Last night with the goal, the touch and the finish was...
I can't ever risk just not starting him because he can always give you that. Maybe if you want to have the conversation, should he have been sold before or should he be let go before? Maybe. But I think most times at your football club, you have to start him, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get the legs in and around him, because he tried pressing yesterday against Brentford, and that was him really trying his hardest, but he can't press the way that a top team needs a top player to press. So there's so many issues that are at Liverpool at the moment, but I think ultimately the league has just caught up with you a little bit, and your top players...
But when you say caught up though, what do you mean caught up? Because this not like it's a Liverpool team that kept the exact same team as last season for the third season in a row. You know, new players, good players have come into this team. Is it more of a case of the manager just hasn't been able to find out a system?
100%.
Well, but the manager might not be able to get the best out of them. But also, when we talk about where the league's going in terms of physicality, Liverpool are the worst team at dealing with it.
Right.
Like balls,
and that never used to be the case in Klopp's prime as well.
Last night was a prime example.
Oh my goodness, it was just like, and I will never. Until I see it fully, I'm never going to write off Van Dijk because, like I said, I think he's the best centre back in Premier League history. But like he is struggling, man. Yeah. And like before, I thought it was overplayed. I was like, no, you're just kind of looking into it. But I'm watching him. I'm like, nah, you're not the same player that you were last season.
Because Liverpool's defensive ethos, like to a degree, it don't matter how good Van Dijk is when you're as open as you lot are. When there's the teething problems with your centre half partnerships, with your fullbacks, with your midfield and up front, there's too much space.
I was just going to kind of add to what you were saying. I think that with Liverpool, where you've had so much stability for such a long time, anytime you were going to try and make changes,
it's wholesale changes as well.
We're not talking about a little tweak like we saw last year. We're tweaking the position.
You've got new right hand side.
Ravan Bertram, McAllister. We're talking about a whole new, set of fullbacks. We're talking about a whole new front line. We're talking all of that. So from a team that doesn't really historically make huge wholesale changes all in one go,
and then you sprinkle in injuries.
Everything has been happen like in one go, and it's like, okay, whatever on paper maybe this should work. You've got amazing players, you've had an amazing window, but actually it doesn't always work that way.
It needs time.
And I think that is one of the things, time. I think in terms of what we're seeing with football this year, it's massively changed. It's kind of like Liverpool didn't really get the memo that like that's what people have been working on.
And really, Arnie's story, who I love, by the way, is then almost moaning in press conferences
about
other teams,
the way that other teams
doing things.
As I said, he's losing the plot.
But it's not losing the plot. I just think that you need to focus on. Don't worry about what other teams are doing. Focus on what you are not.
But that's what I'm saying. It just sounds like excuses from Slot. Obviously, he's not an idiot, but it's like, oh my God, teams are playing long balls. Why would they do that? Because they can exploit space. Why would they not set up to get a result against you? What are you talking about?
It is just kind of how it just looks like you guys haven't really got this idea. Plus, you couple that with the fact that you have got a big issue with Virgil van Dijk at the moment. It's not to say that he can't recover from it.
There's a big issue, Josh.
No, I think there's a big issue.
I'm not sure we're there yet.
No,
I mean, this guy's been, as Quaku says, in his opinion,
him and Konate, they are having a big issue.
The best defending Premier League history. I'm not sure. He's had a couple of dodgy games. I'm not sure we got a big issue with Van Dijk.
I think defensively you have a big issue.
Oh, no, I agree. I definitely agree with you there.
You are having a big issue.
I'm not sure individually with Van Dijk we do. I agree. The biggest problem we've got.
He's just in poor form, but
the biggest problem we've got at the moment
in general, that defensive line is a big problem for you right now.
I cannot believe, even when we were winning games, how easy it is for teams to completely cut through us.
Yeah.
And we saw with the Brentford second goal last night, there was a ball into Damsgaard, who then ends up playing a really, really good through ball through, and he's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. And it's almost like Slot, he's just unable to shift the momentum. Like last season, we were so good at having control of football games. We had the pressing system of Jurgen Klopp, and we went away from that. The extra pass, the extra touch, everything felt so measured, so controlled. And this season, we are completely unbalanced. And Slot as well has got sorted out, because last night, Szoboszlai starts centre midfield, goes to right back, ends up finishing centre midfield, and it's absolutely all over the place.
Last season, the team kind of picked itself.
You got
starting 11, which went.
I thought that was going to be the case with Arteta this year, if I'm honest.
But also, losing Trent, he's been probably even harder than I think that any of you lot would like to admit as a Liverpool fan. Not even on the defensive side, but I think when you look at the way that he was so integral to your build-up and how the relationship with him.
And there's no solution currently.
There's no solution in world football. There's no defender that can play like that.
No, other than Trent.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Also, on the players thing, and in terms of maybe bringing in too many players, I've seen Liverpool win 2 league titles in my lifetime. In 1920, when you ran away with it, in the summer of 2019.
No, you said it the other way around.
You said 19.
You said 1920.
You said, no, I thought you were in the year 1920.
Yeah. I thought you were time traveling.
Yeah.
I knew what you were talking
about. You knew
I meant.
Wavelength. There we go. Oh, in the 1920 season, in summer of 2019, Liverpool brought in Sepp van der Berg on the free transfer and Adrian. And those are the only 2 transfers you made, and you ran away with the league. In 24-25, in the summer of 24, brought in Chiesa, man that's being sent back out on loan. This is a Liverpool team that, when they do go on to win these major trophies, there's very little disruption. It's almost like a seamless transition from the end of the season before. Yeah. Again, in the 1920 season, when you won it, at the back end of that previous season, you just winning games. I remember sitting on the goal show at the back end of last season with you and Ryan saying, you lot not winning games at the back end of the season is not a great thing. And I remember Ryan saying, no, but we won the league already. But ever since then,
just shows you stability is underrated.
Saying, was that a good idea to be on the
No, but you're allowed to enjoy it. But the way that it fit, even the last game of the season when you like drew Palace, I'm like, in the game where you're lifting the trophy, like, try and win it. And I just feel like it's been a continuation of the poor form on the back end of the
stability is underrated in football.
But they will figure it out though. Like they're gonna start winning games again. But right now, I don't think teams fear Liverpool. I think teams they fancy.
Right now, teams must look at Liverpool and think we can get out of because
that's why I was angry with Arteta at Anfield. If I'm honest.
Oh, thank you. That's what I was going to say. If Arsenal could have that game back again, they'd be like, "Oh my goodness, just take them."
The irony,
the second off. The irony
also we're 7 points behind you, and we continue the season as well.
That's why.
Why do you guys think? So the thing is, I'm honest with you. Like, I'm at a point now where I've spent so much time thinking about this. Yeah. I'm almost a bit out of ideas.
Yeah.
I'm like, go back to try and trust in midfield 3. That didn't work. Play Wirtz and 10. That I almost feel like we've tried everything and we're just not finding the solution. Do you think we're going to see the best of Florian Wirtz anytime soon? Because you can see a good player in there, technically very good.
A few patches, I think.
Moments, you know.
Yeah.
It depends, man.
Liverpool have never done this before, though. The fees are dictating. For example, Alexander Isak, of course, is going to come good for Liverpool eventually and start scoring goals. But in any other world, if you sign a player for 50 or 60 million, with the form that Ekitike was in, Isak's not coming into that team until Ekitike falls off a cliff.
100%.
But because of the price tag, Isak has to start. You can't have the 130.
In hindsight, it's better on one of those players this window, and maybe go and sign the centre back with the other money.
I don't think you necessarily meant to sign both. Or like, yes, you were meant.
I don't think
yes,
you by
were meant
mistake
to sign
sign two guys
No,
£200
but
million,
if,
do you?
I was talking about this with someone the other day. I don't know whether or not like
I see where she's coming from. I can't
committed to like. You can.
I think you went
by mistake.
I wouldn't say mistake. No, I wouldn't say mistake. I think you went for Isaac.
That was the wrong word.
Yeah, you went for Isaac. At one point, it didn't look like it was going to happen. Then you went for Hugo.
Yeah.
Then it's like, F it, respectfully, let's go and get it done.
I think that was CJ's. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not
sure. Because how was you fitting them? Because how was you fitting them both in?
I think you fit them in. I think
we all know one plays off the left.
Plays from the left, and Isak plays in the centre.
Or maybe Ekitike was here to be like a backup, and his form just out of this world, and it makes the whole Isak thing.
Bear in mind, Liverpool lost
But then you got Verts as well, so it don't make sense.
Luis Diaz went, obviously lost Jota. So I do think they meant to sign that many attackers.
Yes, but I don't know if they were meant to do it all in that time. It was kind of like, like let's just do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they've overlooked one of the most important things, which is at centre-back. Like, they know they needed another centre-back.
I think they missed a six.
You can't have just have had Mark Gahey. You can't have just had him as your target. You had to have had another one.
The only tour is
you couldn't. I'm sorry, but you can't just.
Yeah, but he was 18. He wasn't going to play that much.
You can't do that. You can't just rely.
He might have done, mate.
He might have.
I don't know.
But if you could have got, you lot tried to get Gahey.
He
is quality.
Dean Howson starting now.
Of course.
There are teenagers.
There are teenagers that do.
But they tried to grab Gahey.
Yes, there are teenagers that do it, but I don't actually. I think that's an oversight. Then again, if you were just going to put all your reliance on that,
I think you can't legislate for someone like tearing their ACL.
No, of course
not.
Yeah, but they tried to get Gahey, so they wanted two centre halves.
Before they
wanted another.
They wanted two centre halves this summer.
They knew they did. That should have been a priority for them.
The one thing that I will say with Liverpool though is that it'll feel so disappointing, because I think if they surveyed the landscape, they would have looked at it and said, okay, we won the league last season. Like, in terms of becoming the biggest team, not just in this country, but in the world commercially as well, if you go and put back-to-back league titles with our 6 Champions Leagues and our multiple league titles, there may not have no conversation in terms of being bigger than Liverpool. But Liverpool got the on-pitch success, and they can start to build commercially with these new players they bought. So I feel like they look at it and say, this was a missed opportunity. Not saying I went on one show and said it'll be an absolute disaster. It's not a disaster, but I feel like they'll view the season as being like, if maybe we could have had that summer again, we may bring in one of Isak and Ekitike.
And then wait for the next